Good evening, dear attendees. What a wonderful day it has been. Plenty of learning, lots of meaningful interactions, and a great deal of experiences shared. I welcome you all into the last plenary for today as part of our 12th International Conference for Teachers of English, Language Teaching during COVID-19. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've had a great turnout to each and every single one of our sessions. This evening, I have the honor to introduce Dr. David Fay. He is the Regional English Language Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. He oversees public diplomacy outreach through Belize, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. He has also served in Tashkent, Moscow, Lima, Ankara, and Islamabad. A Fulbright alumnus, he holds an undergraduate degree in Latin American Studies and Spanish, and graduate degrees in English language education, U.S. literature, and resource management. A native Iowan, David Fay became a diplomat in 2003 after nearly 2 decades as a teacher trainer, and publisher working in the United States, Costa Rica, Spain, and Turkey. It is also a true pleasure to have 2 more co-presenters for this session. Join me in welcoming Jose Manuel Villafuerte and Irene Violante. Without further ado, please enjoy our last plenary, Relo What, Relo Who, Ideas for Improving the English Language Classroom. Dr. Fay, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Diego. I tell you, with an introduction like that, it makes me want to study to become an English teacher in Honduras and have you as one of my instructors.
You're more than welcome to join us.
I would love to. Buenas tardes, good evening, everybody. And if you've stayed with this program this long, it truly means that you're dedicated and you're passionate about teaching as we are. You've heard my bio. So what I'd like to do is cut very quickly to my colleagues and let them introduce themselves a little bit, and then I'll loop back and tell you a little bit more about what our office does and why we exist. So let me start with my colleague Irene Violante. Irene, would you like to share a little bit more about yourself? Oh no, have we lost Irene? Huh. Okay, I think we may have lost my 2 colleagues. Is Jose Manuel Villafuerte there by any chance? Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm hoping that they'll be able to log back on at some point and introduce themselves.
Okay.
They are
sorry, we have been muted. The host didn't allow us to unmute.
Yes.
Okay. Well, now you are free to talk. So that's okay. That's all right. I just thought you were so overwhelmed by the live conference event that you just were deciding to stay quiet. So they know about me. Irene, would you like to share a little bit more about who you are?
Yes, sure. Now that I can, thank you for unmuting my microphone. My name is Irene Violante, Irene, and I have been working in the RELO office in Mexico for almost 4 years. I am an English teacher. I have been an English teacher for more than 30 years. I have worked in all levels, primary, middle school, high school, university, with adults. I have been a teacher, a coordinator, a director, and now I'm here and I'm very happy to supervise some of the programs we have in the RELO office, along with Jose Manuel, my co-worker here. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. And Jose Manuel.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Jose Manuel Villafuerte. I'm a Mexican citizen. I am an English teacher by trade. I have been teaching since I was 18 years old. I'm passionate about teaching. And this has been a wild ride. Like Irene, I have been a teacher trainer, administrator. I have also been an editor for English language teaching materials. and I have been working with Relo for 16 years now. And it's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Jose Manuel. And I will add that we do have a third colleague at our office, Ulises Corona, who's in the midst of a move from one home to the next today, which is why he couldn't join us. However, we are not alone at our office in Mexico City. We depend heavily on colleagues at embassies and consulates in the region. And I am not sure if Maria Elena Gutierrez is with us. If she is, perhaps she would like to introduce herself as well.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yay.
Yeah, so hi, everybody. My name is Maria Elena Gutierrez. I'm the Public Engagement Specialist for Emerging Voices at the U.S. Embassy in Tegucigalpa. And I'm the one that has the English programs portfolio. I am recent, possibly some of you may know my colleague who just retired, Carmen Orcullo. So now I am the one doing our Carmencita's job, and I'm very excited. I'm not a teacher by training, but I must say that I'm passionate about English because English led me where I am today. And actually my story and the story how I learned English is quite funny. I didn't go to a bilingual school. I learned English mostly by watching TV and listening to music. I'm not gonna mention which music, I'm not gonna mention which TV programs, because otherwise I will give out my age. Okay, never mind. It was New Kids on the Block. It was the Brady Bunch. It was Saved by the Bell. Those programs. And that's the way I started to learn English. And eventually I had the opportunity to attend English classes. And like I said, English opened so many opportunities for me, including this one opportunity at the embassy. So I'm passionate about English. I know that English opens doors, and I feel very committed, and at the embassy, we are very committed to provide the tools, the training, and the skills to teachers and to everyone to improve their language, their English language skills.
Thank you, Maria Elena. And I must admit that I thought New Kids on the Block was just a couple of years ago, if my memory doesn't fail me. So I think you're still a spring chicken. Just to give you a little bit more of a context, I think it's important for you to understand that beyond the walls of our embassies and consulates and our regional English language office, we could not do the work that we're doing without solid partners. And among our partners are the teachers associations like your own. They are the ones who truly further the professional development opportunities and the resources that we offer that we're going to talk about in a little bit more time. The overarching goal for us is to better link not only associations to other associations in the same way that your association is linked to TESOL International, but also to link institutions such as the institution that's hosting this particular conference, to institutions in the US, and to link people. And the hope is that through those linkages, we build stronger bonds and we learn from this context, both in the US as well as in our region. And that is really the essence of our office. If you take a look at where we are, let me see if I can get this to advance. If you do find yourself in Mexico City, we do welcome you. We are at the Benjamin Franklin Library in downtown Mexico City. And despite what you see in this picture, because of COVID right now, we have sadly an empty library. We are hoping that as of January, we will begin welcoming people back into our space. So again, if you do find yourself up in Mexico City, please let us know. We'd love to meet you in person. And despite what you might see in this photo right here, the fellow in the red chair is not really napping. I'm sure he's thinking about English language teaching. You have already heard from Diego the countries that we work with, the embassies and the consulates throughout Mexico as well that we work with. So let me move on to the next slide. And I believe this is oh, wait, no, this is the virtual slide, excuse me. As you can see, we've only just begun rehearsing this together as a team, but I will simply mention here that despite our fairly limited physical presence and a distance, no doubt, from Tegucigalpa and from those of you in other parts of Honduras and Central America, we are online. We have a very strong presence online. And again, we'll be talking about that in more detail during this presentation. Let's move on to the next slide. Jose Manuel.
Thank you, David. And well, our office mission is precisely providing professional development opportunities for teacher educators, in-service teachers, and pre-service teachers occasionally. Many of these opportunities are open to all interested parties, but some of them are limited by a call and you have to fulfill the requirements. If we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay. And for our open online courses, this is something that you can apply to. We have, these are virtual learning opportunities, online courses, as I said, for English teacher educators, for in-service teachers, and some of them are also for students. We have what is called the global online courses, but most people just know them as the scholarships. These are open call. The call is issued by Maria Elena in Tegucigalpa. And these are courses on English teaching methodology. They last for 8 weeks. Honduras gets only 10 slots every quarter. So you get a total of 40 slots per year. As you can see, this is a very, very competitive program. However, and because not everybody can receive a scholarship, some of the courses are also offered in a different modality, which is the massive open online courses, or MOOCs for short. And these MOOCs only last for 5 weeks. They have unlimited seatings, so you can have as many MOOCs as you wish. You can take them as many times as you want. No problem about that. Some of them, as I said, are also on English teaching methodology. Is the exact same content as the scholarships. But we also have some courses that deal with English for specific purposes, or ESP. And those are for both teachers and learners. And these are for high school and university level. We are very excited. We have some about tourism, media literacy, journalism, business and entrepreneurship, etc. If you want more information, the website is right there, openenglishprograms.org. And I'm also going to post that in the chat box so that you can take a look yourselves. If we can go on to the next slide, please.
Sure, and I just want to mention, Jose Manuel, that already one of the teachers, Brenna Woods, replied to my question about whether anybody has taken an open or an e-teacher course, and she responded in the positive. So we do have at least one alumnus out there.
And Meoli Excedas said English for tourism. Okay, Carmen Reyes, Diego Carlos Diaz also. They have taken open courses. They used to be called e-teacher courses. So yes, some of you might also be our alumni. Great to see you here. Okay. If you do not have all that much time, because as I said, these courses are 5 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on whether you take them as a MOOC or as a scholarship. We have webinars, that is virtual webinars, that are broadcast on Facebook Live. So these are open to all interested participants. The series is called American English Live Teacher Development Series. And as I said, these are professional development webinars for professionals from all over the world. They are broadcast on Facebook Live. And again, I'm going to post the link on the chat, in the chat box, sorry, so that you can take a look at that. There are more materials and resources for teachers on that Facebook, so you might want to take a look. We have three series a year. Each series consists of 6 sessions, 1 hour each, and the calendar is available on Facebook. The next series will begin on January 19th. So I suggest that you visit this Facebook page constantly to check out the calendar. The sessions are always broadcast on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m., but that's the Eastern Coast time in the United States. I'm not sure what time that would be in Honduras. After each session, you can get a link to a quiz, and it's a very short questionnaire, only 3 questions. If you get 2 of them right at least, then you can get a digital badge. And this badge can be shared on your social media or with prospective employers to show that you are pursuing continuous development. And we also have certificates for registered viewing groups. So you must attend at least 4 of the 6 sessions for that. Maria Elena can give you more information about viewing groups because each country handles theirs separately. And we have an online community on AmericanEnglishWebinars.com, which I'm going to post on in the chat box. And that's it for me. Let's go on to the resources.
I guess it's my turn, right?
That's right, Irene.
Okay, we're going to talk about very important information. When I started to work at the embassy and I heard that we had free downloadable resources for teachers, I thought, well, nothing's for free. But I can tell you now that yes, they are for free. And we're not talking about 10 documents. We're talking about a lot of different things you can use in class. Let's go into that. If you can go on to the next slide, please. Okay. If you go to this link, americanenglish.state.gov, okay, this is what you will find, okay? As you can see in blue, in the middle, it says resources and programs. You really want to go there and you will find a lot of information, worksheets, many downloadable material like books, and you can print all this. Nothing is copyrighted, so feel free to not only download it and copy it, but share it with students, with other teachers, with whoever you want, and you will find different activities to cover the 4 skills. For example, if you want to practice reading, there are a lot of books that you can download. If you want to practice listening, some of the books are in an MP4 format, so you can also use them as audiobooks, writing, etc. So please visit this page and go to resources and programs. And I'm going to talk about some of the resources that we have. So can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so as I was telling you, all these materials are downloadable for free. If you need songs, and some of these songs are, of course, because this is an American English site, you will find American songs, traditional songs, songs for kids. And we also have some games where it says activate about me, you know. This one is wonderful. I'll talk about one example in a few minutes, but it's a series of game boards, you know, or board games, you know, that you can print, you can cover, you know, plastify and reuse them many times in your class with your students. We also have, as I mentioned, ebooks and audiobooks. My favorite is Edgar Allan Poe's stories, but I know that Jose Manuel's favorite is The Gift of the Magi, right, Jose Manuel? So he can also give you a lot of ideas and information on how to use that. In case you want ideas, you can also contact us. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. And on that next slide, sorry, this is more material. We also have some books like Celebrate, and Jose Manuel will tell you a little bit about Celebrate. I can tell you that in the loop, the book that you can see there, has a lot of idioms, American idioms that are commonly used that you can share with your students, and we will have a sample for you in a minute. Also, there's a forum magazine. David will tell you in more detail what this magazine is about. Okay, talking about the board game. Remember, I told you that if you look for Activate, you will
Irene,
get.
sorry to interrupt. Just before we move on to the board game, I was muted. I had to mute myself because of environment noise, and I wasn't able to unmute myself back then.
Okay.
As Irene said, none of this is copyrighted. Our resources are open educational resources. That means that they can be shared freely, and they can also be copied, or they can be used to develop something new. All we ask is that you cite the original source, which is americanenglish.state.gov.
Thank you, Jose Manuel. Okay, so I would like to volunteers to help me out with this one. Okay, for example, this game is used to practice. What do you think? What structures do you think students can practice with this particular board game? Oh, can people unmute themselves or not? I'm thinking
No,
that they
they can't.
can't, right? Okay, so I'll quickly go over it.
But they can write on the chat.
Okay, so let's look at the chat. So what structures do you think students can practice with this one? Yes, Meoli, present perfect, Jocelyn, thank you. Anybody else? Or anything else, not just present perfect? What else? Have you ever questions? Yes. And remember that the present perfect is a tense, one of the tenses that refers to the past. Excellent, Meoli, past events. So the idea here is like your students can work individually or in teams, you know? I mean, individually, I mean like in pairs. So one person, you know, takes a turn, or in groups. And the idea is to start, you know, in the red circle and get to the finish line. So the first student that gets there wins. You need the dice, you know, but the material also comes with a printable one, so it can be nice, or you can use a typical dice. Students need chips to advance and or tokens, and you can also combine it. For example, the first one says, have you ever swum in a river? Okay, so the idea here is not to just say yes or no. The idea is, have you ever, or when? That's the name of the game. So, for example, Jose Manuel, can you help me give an example?
Yeah, sure. So let's say that I roll a 1. So Irene, have you ever swum in a river?
Yes.
Oh, what river was it?
Oh, I don't know the name of the river, but it was a river in Tamaulipas when I visited my family in Tamaulipas.
Okay, and when was that?
Oh, that was many years ago. That was when I was a kid, when we used to spend our summer vacation with my cousins there. Okay.
Awesome. Let's move on because we have a lot of ground to cover, and
Okay.
we have very little time.
So that's just an example of something you can do, and you can always change the questions because this you can edit, and your students will have a lot of fun. Thank you. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, I told you that In the Loop is a book that has a lot of idioms. So here we have the first one. Those two brothers will never get along. There is too much between them. Can you tell me in the chat what the correct idiom is?
The idioms are on the left-hand side,
Mhm.
by the way.
Yeah, you have the options there. So what's the correct answer there? Those two brothers will never get along. There is too much between them. Yes, Nelly.
Yes.
Great. Okay, let's move on to the third one. They should give up trying. Oops. It was
Sorry about that.
no, it's okay. They should give up trying to argue with the boss on that subject. There. What's the correct answer? We're talking about the third one.
Yay.
Yeah,
Very good,
Brenna,
Brenna.
excellent. And the last one, the editor didn't like the article I wrote for the newspaper. She told me to redo it. So I guess I'll have to choose one of the options there.
Karen also got the right answer for the last one. Diego, excellent. Back to square one.
Okay, actually, we're missing the verb. Yes, and you can see the answers in this slide. Excellent. So this is something you can do with your students. This material was taken directly from the book called In the Loop. Okay. The next one, please.
All downloadable and printable in your from your own printer.
And for free.
As Irene said, we also have this title, which is Celebrate. And this is not only about American holidays that everybody knows and loves, like New Year's Eve or July 4th, which is Independence Day, as you know, or Thanksgiving, but also celebratory days in general. How do people celebrate birthdays in the United States? How do they celebrate graduations, which are a pretty big event there? And we picked this Juneteenth to show to you because this has just been added to the calendar of federal holidays. And if you don't know why it was added or what it is about or how it relates to Black Lives Matter, go to americanstate.gov, americanenglish.state.gov, check out Celebrate and go to Juneteenth and learn a little bit about that. Let's move on to the next one.
And I get to talk a little bit about English Teaching Forum, our journal for teachers by teachers. I did have a quick look before this presentation to see if I could pull up any of the authors from Honduras. I was not successful. That does not mean that there aren't authors. Sometimes the authors are not tagged. So if there is anybody watching who happens to be an author of an article or a teaching technique or any other portion of English Teaching Forum, I would love to hear. If not, I do invite you to consider sharing your ideas via this important journal. It is something that is distributed worldwide, but it is also meant to be as practical and relevant to the classroom instructor as possible. What's interesting is that for those of you who are also working with pre-service instructors or in an in-service professional development environment, there are ways that this can be used as a tool to further your own development in a group or with these pre-service teachers. The Reader's Guide is something that will help you better understand the articles and get discussions going in the classroom. I've also noticed with the pre-service teachers that they often need to write papers, research papers, or some kind of thesis. This is an online journal with about 20 years of searchable content. So please go into our americanenglish.state.gov website and have a look at this searchable database, because my guess is that you will find a lot of interesting ideas that can be used not only in your classroom, but with your research. Finally, I'll simply mention what I think is my favorite part. It was added about 3 years ago. It's a section called My Classroom, where you get a better sense of what teachers are doing around the globe, what their classroom situation, the walls, the furniture, the students themselves actually feel like. We don't have one yet for Honduras. I would love to see a My Classroom written for Honduras. And I am more than ready to help. If any of you are interested, you will find some contact information at the end of this presentation. Don't be shy, let me know.
Okay, this is mine, right?
That's right.
Okay, you can also find in American English on Facebook. Please try to follow us. American English, the first one is basically for teachers, okay? And the other one, American English for educators, is for teachers and students, okay? Very important English teaching tips. And there's a lot of information there that you can use, and not only to learn, but also in your classes. Okay. We also have American English on YouTube. Okay. As you know, YouTube is a channel, that also has free resources. We have different kinds of materials there. We have materials for English learners, and they can find activities, resources from upper beginner to advanced levels, and they can practice grammar, they can learn vocabulary, pronunciation. We also have material for English language teachers. And there are many teacher professional development events there, like the American English language. There are webinars, teaching tips, methods. And also, if as a teacher you want to take a deep dive into specific teaching topics, you can look for specific topics in the YouTube channel. And in general, for everybody, you can also find the open program information and MOOCs that have been recorded here.
Also, Irene, something important on the screenshots that you're seeing now, you can see some of our short animated mini videos. These are short videos about 3 to 5 minutes long tops. Some of them come with quizzes, so students can press pause, answer the quiz, and then press play to check their answers. And they come on many different topics. If some of you are doing preparation for TOEFL, you can ask your students to check fixing common mistakes. And that, for instance, gives you the difference between look, see, and watch, or listen and hear. We also have phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, different tenses. So take a look. These videos are really a treasure trove. And Irene just mentioned the American English at State Facebook site. My suggestion there is go to photos, then check all albums, because we have a lot of mini posters and flashcards that are reproducible, that you can download also, or that you can even copy by hand, because some of them are pretty simple. And again, they are on many topics, differences between American and British English, specific vocabulary for cooking verbs, for instance. Take a look, take a dive, as Irene said. You won't regret it. It's time well invested.
Okay, and we also have our Facebook page, Relo Mexico and Central America. So that includes Honduras and El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, and Cuba. Please follow us, because we always post important information, not just about teaching. We also share information from the American English at State and American English for Educators, and occasionally information that is regional and important for us as the Relo office. So I hope I get to see more members as of tonight, okay?
And Jose Manuel.
Sure. If we can move on to the next slide. We have some resources that are also developed by the US, by other US government sponsored organizations. And one that we really like is Voice of America Learning English. Okay, Voice of America is a website where you can find news, but Voice of America Learning English offers these news in at three different levels, sorry. You have basic, intermediate, and advanced. And these news can be read, can be listened to, or you can watch a video. And some of them come also with different types of exercises to improve your English. Not only do we have the learning English exercises, there are different sections like English in a minute, English at the movies. And you can also take a look at the Learn English with Anna Mateo. We have two different courses or two different levels, rather said, and they come with different activities that people can do to also improve their English.
Thank you, Jose Manuel. And Maria Gutierrez, would you like to talk a little bit about the homepage for education at the U.S. Embassy in Tegucigalpa? Maria, can you hear me?
If she muted herself, she won't be able to unmute herself until the host allows her to.
Oops. Okay.
Oh, yes, you're right, Jose Manuel. I was not able to mute myself.
That happened to me. The tamales oaxaqueños came here and they were very noisy. I had to mute myself, and then I was desperately trying to unmute.
I felt like a bad student. I promise I'll behave. Okay, so at the embassy, we work. There are two of our very important partners that have the American spaces. One is the ICI, the Instituto Hondureño de Cultura Interamericana, that you may know, and is located in Tegucigalpa. You can visit the library at the ICI Comayagüela. And we also have the American Space and the Benjamin Franklin Library at the Centro Cultural San Pedrano in San Pedro Sula. Through our education and culture, through our office, also offers some other programs and exchanges that may tap into the interest of you teachers of English. One of the Teaching and Excellence Awards. Basically any teacher, not only English teachers, but basically any bilingual teacher. It can be even in science that can apply, but that's a very great opportunity for teachers. And of course, there's the Fulbright program as well. If you're planning to pursue, oh my God, I forgot the word in English, postgraduate studies, or more advanced studies beyond university. So you can also apply to the program, and English language teaching, TESOL, and other careers are offered. So you're more than welcome to apply to these programs. I will say that maybe if you can pass the slide, because I think
the next slide is our.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I also want to say that due to the pandemic, we have a lot of the resources that are already available at the American English at state.gov site. We have them in print, but due to the pandemic, we have not been able to distribute those. We would like to have a lot of them, so we could give everyone, all the English teachers in Honduras, one copy, but we can. But what we do is that we usually work with our key partners. That means the Pedagógica, that means the Universidad Nacional Autónoma, Health at TESOL, and other universities, other English language department at the universities in Honduras to distribute those language materials. So we're hoping to be able to go to the embassy soon and start distributing those publications so you can access those in the libraries at the universities or at these institutions. And I want to say that that explains that also that's the reason why it's also important that you are part of these associations, that you are part of these universities, as David mentioned at the beginning of the presentation. So yes, we do have a lot of materials, not enough for everybody, but you can access them at the American Spaces, and you can also access them through the universities, and we will be sending soon those materials. Also, I want to say that we also have to support English language. There are other not as possibly geared toward English, but that are excellent resources for you to have your students learn English, practice their English, and improve also the language skills. And one is the Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, wildlife.state.gov. They have many resources that are in Spanish, but they have more resources in English. And that's the way you can tap into those of your students that may be interested in also becoming an entrepreneur. So imagine being able to receive some training in entrepreneurship in English and familiarize themselves with English in business. And also the embassy is really committed to English language teaching and learning. And every year we put out an open competition for grants or projects. So I'm going to send you the link. This is called the Small Grants Program. As you can see, one of the themes or one of the specific areas or that we are looking to work in is English. So if you are an individual and have a project idea on how to use new tools or develop an online program to reach out to more teachers, to reach out to more students, to improve their learning of the English language or to improve the teaching of the English language, you can apply to those small grants. Right now, the small grants is not open, and it's because we are waiting for Congress to approve the funding for all embassies around the world. So we're waiting, but as soon as it opens, you will find the information at this same link that I share with you. I will say that teachers have really great ideas. One of the things that that I think is particular to teachers is how well connected the community is and how willing it is to share best practices. So I would say that take advantage of these opportunities, and maybe there is a project idea that you have that will improve English in Honduras, that will improve English in a rural community that you know, or in that rural community that you're working with. Also at the embassy, and this is because of virtuality, we have tried to improve the way we communicate with English teachers. I don't know, possibly a lot of you received the invitation to this conference through an email that from the embassy signed by English Programs Honduras. So yes, we're trying to get to build this subscriber list of all English teachers, so it's easier for us to let you know about all the opportunities that the English language program has for English teachers in Honduras. So if you have received those emails, well, I'm very glad that you're receiving them. I'm very glad that you are reading about the opportunities, about Open, when Open, the Open English program in Honduras opens, when it closes, when we have the development series. And if you are not part of this group, if you are not receiving these emails, then you can write to the tggbecas@state.gov. Is on the contact slide in there. We are also trying to build a dedicated email address for you, so it's easier for you. Possibly we'll start using it soon, and possibly it will be English programs in Honduras. So it's easier for all teachers to know how to reach the embassy, how to reach out to us with ideas or with questions about resources or how we can help you out. So that's it for me, I think, so far. I don't know if any of you has any question for the embassy or for us or for David. I think that David and Jose Manuel were way more interesting than I was. So please feel free to ask any question.
Just very quickly, I have posted all the links that we have been posting throughout the presentation in the chat box. So before this session is closed, you might want to go there, copy them, and save them to a Word document or your hard disk. And I have posted them twice. The second one includes the tggbecas@state.gov address, but I will post them again.
Thank you, Jose Manuel, and thank you, Maria. We know we've kept all of you quite late, and there are things to do. I know Maria's got some listening, New Kids on the Block, to get back to later this evening. I want to thank Diego for your support, and of course, David, Dr. Ulloa, congratulations to you on the conference. I know you've got 2 more days, full days of professional development, but congratulations to your team. Special thanks as well to Dr. Joyce Kling, who gave a wonderful opening plenary this afternoon, early this afternoon. I thought her examples were fantastic, and I hope you don't walk away from this like the one case study that she gave of Sophie. I know it can be very overwhelming to get a lot of new content. We hope that you go through it judiciously and pick and choose. Try one idea. That's what we ask you to do. And more than anything else, I hope you walk away from this conference with some new contacts, even if they are virtual. But it's been a pleasure working with you. Please keep in mind that we're here for you. As our colleague Maria says, we are here to empower you, to give you resources, to support you. And it is our pleasure to do so. So all have a good night, a safe time with the rest of the conference, and please take care.
And Diego is asking to be unmuted, please.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to briefly comment on this. I myself was part of an open course on professional development earlier this year, and I can attest for a significant impact on my teaching practice. And I'm actually still part of the open community of practice and receive constant access to resources and chances for networking, which I think is one of the best assets of this program. So I do encourage everybody in this session to stay put for these wonderful opportunities from the American Embassy.
Thank you, Diego. What a great note to end on.
Yes, and we want to finish off this plenary without reiterating our gratitude to the Regional Officer's Office for your continued support and the specialists you have provided over the years. Particularly, would like to thank the Public Affairs Office at the Embassy in Tegucigalpa for their sponsorship for more than 25 years. And a huge shout out to Maria Elena for being a great contact between UPNFM and the American Embassy. A round of applause. Well deserved.
Good night,
So-
everyone. Oh, sorry, Diego.
Yes, so we'd like to remind our audience to follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. We are constantly updating the content there so you don't miss out on any of the presentations. You can also check out the bio data for our presenters there so you are more familiarized with their areas of interest prior to entering their sessions. We can call it a day for today. May you all have a great evening, and we do hope to see you tomorrow for more of our 12th International Conference for Teachers of English, Language Teaching During COVID-19 tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Good night.